Hello, my name is Emily Northrop, and I am going to discuss G7 in the methods of color calibration. This literary review aims to bring to light the research question: what is the importance of G7 color calibration to the print industry, and what has the significance been in the field? We chose this research question because while we feel G7 has been pivotal for the industry, in many ways the process deserves more recognition than it gets. To begin, what is G7? The sources in this literary review bring to light what exactly G7 is, the specific steps in the process, and the necessary means of achieving it. G7 is based on gray balance and explains that we are susceptible to a color cast in neutral colors. The benefit of removing color casts is for a gray color that the image becomes gray balanced. In other words, the underlying principle of G7 is based on the unequal CMY amounts used to create a neutral mid-tone gray, and that every print requires different ratios of these amounts. The main functions of G7 for a printing press are calibrating the press and proofing system for consistency, controlling a press to maintain this for all runs, and controlling a proofer to show this in all proofs. Now let's get into what sets G7 apart. G7 brings a universally defined grayscale to the industry that is device, process, and media independent. The results from the G7 process show that the consistency in prints is much higher than with prior methods. G7 lets us create prints that are uniform, cohesive, and consistent. In a world where the demand is higher than ever and the quality need is rapidly increasing, it's easy to see why G7 was needed and how helpful it is. Why is this important? G7 was needed to create a system that allowed for proofing, press, and print to all have an agreed-upon way to transfer files without disruption. Teams have shown that their work is more efficient, less expensive, and more cohesive. G7 has allowed industry workers to have a common vocabulary when referring to production. This means that a team can easily communicate various print specifications and standards, understand each other, and transform that language into a print job that is done similarly across mediums. In conclusion, this literary review argues the importance of G7 in the industry, stating that G7 deserves more credit than it has received. The ways in which G7 have pivotally impacted the industry deserve recognition. This literary review is comprised of 6 sources, all which are incredibly reliable. The relevancy of many of them were created about 5 years ago. However, most of the information stays consistent with time. These sources include database articles as well as primary textbooks. Thank you.